Hello everyone, I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer, and I wanted to make a vlog today about do I think that we're entering this phase of the gaming world called sequel fatigue. Now, if you don't know what sequel fatigue, it's happening in the movie industry right now, where sequel fatigue is basically, okay, we are tired of sequels, we want something new. This is very easy to see with something like Pirates of the Caribbean, right? You have Pirates of the Caribbean 1, 2, and 3, and then you had 4, then you had 5, where 5 was just like, everyone's like, we don't want to watch Pirates anymore, right? Because, one reason or another, right? And I think that the video game world was starting to enter sequel fatigue and is now exiting sequel fatigue. And what I mean by that is you have, I'm just going to throw some names out there. Call of Duty, Battlefield, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and that's really it for the big names that I'm going to throw out today. So you have games like Call of Duty where everyone's like, oh, everything's the same, right? And then they started breaking out of their shell about 4 years ago with Advanced Warfare, right? They tried to do some new movement stuff, right? But they didn't innovate it enough, and it was still that original Call of Duty feel, right? Then you had Battlefield, where Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 are very similar games, right? That's all the Battlefield games. They're starting to run into sequel fatigue, where they're just Modern Warfare, Battlefield, and right? You have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and 2 and 3, and then Black Ops, like, even though they're all different games, they run the same, right? So that's the shooter games. They run the same, okay? Then you have Bethesda's Elder Scrolls games, and you have the Fallout games, okay? Now, Elder Scrolls is an interesting title because it used to innovate a ton. Like, afterward, like, it would innovate and innovate and innovate itself to where you wouldn't run into sequel fatigue. But it kind of ran into it with from Morrowind to Oblivion, and then not really, but Oblivion to Skyrim. You could definitely tell that there was a strict pattern starting to form, right? Fallout's even worse. Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, and Fallout 4 all play very similarly. They play a little too similarly, so you can have sequel fatigue where everyone's tired of getting the same game, right? Then you have another game series like Halo, right? Halo 1, 2, and 3 ran the same. The Halo Reach changed it up, but not really. Halo 4 kind of went back to Halo 3 style gameplay, and it was good gameplay, but not as good, not very innovative, right? So what can happen is everyone gets tired of sequel fatigue, right? But there's also this thing that I would call genre fatigue, where like everyone's made a survival game, everyone's made this, everyone's made a shooter game, right? So maybe in individual, like all the Call of Duties, all the Elder Scrolls, all the Fallouts, maybe there's not enough of them to get sequel fatigue. But if I'm sitting there, if you notice, all the games I said were first-person shooters. So if I play a Halo, and then I play a Call of Duty, and a Battlefield, and a Elder Scrolls, and another Call of Duty, and a Fallout, and a Elder Scrolls, and a Battlefield, right? I'm playing all these first-person shooter games, and I'm starting to be like, okay, what's next? This is fun. It's fun. It's not as fun. It's not as fun. Oh, this game was really fun, blah, 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 blah. And what's happening is, as a player, I am getting fatigued by the amount of first-person shooter games that aren't innovating, right? And, stuff that's not giving me new experiences. So what can happen in the gaming world is if you have the UI, the user interface, and the playstyle, first-person shooter with everyone knows how to play a first-person shooter, right? Then you have to take extreme caution in actually changing your gameplay and making it unique. Because if it's not unique, it's the same thing. Call of Duty is better than this third-party game. Battlefield 1 is better than this World War I game, right? It's very fatiguing. Survival games is a great example of this, right? You have DayZ, and then H1Z1, and then H1Z1 had Battle Royale. DayZ or Arma 2 had Battle Royale. Then you have Battlegrounds, right? Those games did very good at not giving you sequel fatigue because they innovated and they changed. So I think the gaming world has been teetering a lot on sequel fatigue. I think that there's been just enough innovation to not have sequel fatigue, but I'm worried, always worried that there is sequel fatigue, because now, before in the gaming world, there were innovations on how you play the game. What perspective do you play the game from, right? Now, yeah, we got VR, but it's still first person, right? We still have VR first person. Yeah, we can have a HoloLens, and it's, three-dimensional, but it's still an overview style game, right? So instead of upgrading the UI, we have to find different ways to innovate games so that we don't get sequel fatigue. And I think I've talked a couple times on live streams about how to innovate a game. I might just have to do a video on this. It'd be dope if I did. But guys, tell me what you think in the comments below. Is there sequel fatigue going on in gaming? Are you tired of playing a bunch of games that are the same? I'm not, because I still play games. I'm still experiencing new things. But I can see every once in a while, every couple of years, I'm like, God dang, this is another first-person shooter. It's this game, it's that game, But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Subscribe if you're new, because I'm making so many videos. I love gaming. This channel's got games everywhere. It's got gaming and discussions and more gaming. Alright, I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer. I suck just as bad as you do at video games. And I'll see you in the next episode of whatever I decide to make.